Support for Radio Friends comes from OsteoStrong. Improvements in bone density, strength, and power can be achieved by weekly 5-minute no-sweat sessions on their 4-Spectrum machines. These isometric robotic machines safely emulate high-impact loading on different parts of the skeletal system, which stimulates activity in bone-building cells. Balance and agility can be improved by 2-minute sessions on vibration plates. Every session is supervised by a trained coach. Learn more on Facebook or call to set up a complimentary wellness assessment and session. Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Thursday, July the 15th. I want to introduce you to Mike Heimos, who is the educator for the City of Columbia. Yes, good to have you here, Mike. What does the educator for the City of Columbia do?
I work with the public in various city departments and educating them about sustainable practices across many topics, everything from stormwater to electrical usage. I'm out in the schools and I'm always meeting with our staff to discuss different ways we can be more sustainable.
Yeah, now this segment, we would normally be having Barbara Buffalo on, but Barbara is no longer with the city. She has left. She's taking care of her parents. But anyway, today you wanted to talk about how to stay cool in the heat, right? Best way to stay cool in the heat.
Well, when we talk about this time of the year and the temperature starts to rise, you have to look at your utility savings, the overall cost. By setting your thermostat to about 78 degrees, which for some people is a little bit too warm, actually over the long term, you can save about 10% on your energy bill in the summertime.
If you set your thermostat at about 78 degrees.
Yes, sir.
What about, here's a question I have for you. Now, I keep the air on, but if it cools off at nighttime and you shut the air conditioning off, which I like to do, and open the windows, okay, then you hesitate turning it back on until later in the morning. Right. In the meantime, the temperature's up to about 85 degrees or so. The house is getting warm. You close the windows, you turn the air on. Now the walls and the furniture and everything has gotten warm. That air conditioner actually has to work harder now, doesn't it?
And removing the moisture from the ambient temperature that came in. But most units today are a lot more efficient than they were 20, even 10 years ago.
Yes.
And I think when you're not running electricity like that in the evening and you're utilizing and letting fresh air in, you've got to think also your health in general. You're letting fresh air into the house, you're kind of airing things out, you're breathing in, the outside air and the oxygen. And I don't think it's a bad practice at all.
So you don't think that you're actually using more electricity by turning it on later in the day instead of just keeping it on and the windows closed?
I think it varies from appliance to appliance, depending on what kind of unit you have. But I think a general practice like that, you're not using electricity. And I think once that unit turns on and it removes the moisture, it's going to go back to the setting you have and not continue to run.
Okay. As far as using fans, ceiling fans, it's really efficient to have that ceiling fan on running with the air conditioner, isn't it?
In the rooms that you're in. That's one of the things when we talk about raising the temperature on your thermostat up to about 78 is you get that cooling effect from a fan running. Most people maybe want the temperature to be a little lower, like maybe a 72 or a 74. But that air moving in the room, you actually, if you're used to a cooler temperature, you'll get that cooling effect.
Yes.
But you have to think, you only want to run fans in rooms that you're in.
Or doesn't it? See, I just keep my ceiling fans on all the time because I thought it was helping to circulate the cool air, pushing the warm air down from the ceiling down to the floor.
If you're home. I don't think it's a bad practice to have. But if you're gone all day like you are at work, I usually turn all of my fans off.
Oh, I keep them on all the time. Well, So it would be better to turn them off.
Well, you bring up a really good point, and it's one of the things that I always kind of talk to people about is phantom electricity. Having things on or plugged in that you don't use regularly, like maybe you have a second bedroom or a room down in the basement, and you have the old DVD player plugged in and it's just flashing 12 and it's constantly on, or clocks in rooms that are just there for when guests are there, but they're always plugged in. The ceiling fan can play the same role in that. It's the use of electricity in a room that nobody's using. and you start taking those little things offline, you'll be very amazed to see how much electricity you'll
So
save.
you're not actually helping the air conditioner then by keeping the ceiling fans running in your house, even if you're not in that room?
No, that's a personal thing for you.
Okay, so turn the ceiling fans off when you're not in the room.
Yes. Or a box fan or any fan that you have. Usually a room I sit in, it's hard for me at 78. I love a meat freezer. Boy, oh boy. If I could keep it down to 68, I would.
Yeah.
I'd store meat in my house. But, when you start looking at the long-term expense of that, then you're talking about your air conditioning constantly running.
One thing that we did last year was we put re-insulated the attic.
Yeah.
With 50 RV.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Now, I'm on Boone Electric, and I'm amazed, and I keep my thermostat set at 73 for the air conditioning. I know that's a little bit too cool, but let me tell you this.
It's
how
okay.
I can justify it. How I justify it. I'm getting my electric bill.
I was just going to bring that up.
And they give you a chart. Since I put re-insulated,
Good.
I'm using 12% less
Isn't that
electricity. 12% less electricity than I was the same period, keeping the temperature at a cooler level than it was before.
And that insulation makes a huge difference.
That insulation makes all the difference
Yes, it
in the
does.
world. And it didn't cost that much to put 50 RV
No, it didn't.
in the attic. And it really does make a difference.
Another one that we did in my house, I'm a big window person. We have a lot of windows, and I don't want drapes. I don't want, I love having the windows open. Last year during the COVID event, we went out and we got a really good deal on some insulating drapes and put them in a lot of our rooms. And we saw an 8% reduction in our heating bill. And it's going to be interesting to see where we are this year with the cooling. Yeah. And you just don't realize, even when the windows are well sealed, just that light coming in and the heat that's transferred off the glass makes a huge difference.
Yeah, well, it's neat that Boone Electric on their hub app that you have on the phone, it tells you daily what you're using. And my electricity rate was down 12, and that was even with this really hot weather that we had earlier in
sir.
June. Yeah.
Well, so does the City of Columbia's water and light utility. Most major utilities now show that information on their billing statements, or you can go online and check it out. And it is a really good thing to experiment with when you're talking about savings, because in the long haul, when you look at the longevity of a year, that can be quite a bit of savings.
Yeah, it can. All right, Mike, if people want more information about any of this, what's the city website they can go to?
They can go to the City of Columbia's website at como.gov and search any of the topics we talked about today. We have great information on the city's website. And also, I'd like to say that we have a really well set up social media on Facebook, where you can go to Como Sustainability, where we post all kinds of tips and information on a daily basis about things that you can do around your house in regards to not only what you can do outside your home, but what you can do inside your home to help save money.
Okay, real quick, we're almost out of time, but does the city have a peak alert system where you can sign up for it to turn the air conditioner off for a 20-minute period?
That program is continued. I think discontinued, but I'll have to find out more information about it and get back to you.
Boone Electric does. We're out of time. See you next time, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.